Hey everybody, I am here in a very empty greenhouse, and by this time next month, this is going to be a hive of activity as we are gearing up for our spring season and we begin planting all of these crazy plants that we love so much here at Groovy Plants Ranch. I wanted to take you on sort of a behind the scenes tour before things get too wild. We had a lot of requests for seeing how things are done behind the scenes, so I thought, we'll do this now and then we'll do it again in a month or two as things are really starting to move along. Let's get cold first. So we have zoned houses. So as you can see, it's quite cold in here. It's a lot warmer in the main house. And this is a holding house where we maintain these overwintered plants quite cold. Overwintered hellebores, they haven't yet been cleaned up for retail display, but they're beginning to bud and bloom. This is Roman red. We do thousands of hellebores for the Hellebores Hullabaloo at the beginning of March. In here, this is just a smorgasbord of spring plants, everything from creeping phlox, and these are all perfect overwintered plants ready to explode come spring. This is a pretty traditional overwintering and growing house for perennials. A lot of very nice sedum. You can see each pot has been maintained by our team, cut back to just the right size so that when they do break dormancy, they will grow like crazy. But these are actually great little overwintered buds on this sedum. Looks like probably Lidocens. That thing will be a full pot by mid-April. It's fun seeing them sleep. They're so much more durable too than you would think. Here is another overwintering house. So this house is very exciting as we walk through. Look at the bud development here on this Helleborus. Nice plants. And as we move through, you'll see here are a bunch of really nice figs, and this is what they look like this time of year. Now here is a very exciting giant group of pots of soil, but if you look a little closer, we have beautiful peonies. These are actually our peony crop for the Peony Palooza, which we are moving into our third year on. And here we have Bowl of Beauty peony, in addition to thousands of other peonies, including beautiful tree peonies. Now they are pushing bud, but trust me, they're not too early. They're right where we want them to be, and they're right where you want them to be for spring, because by the time we get there, they will be really nice plants. I really am encouraged by this type of growth here. And while I'm in here, I just happened upon Centaurea Silver Swirl, which may or may not be on our spring orders coming up soon. And this is a brand new plant to horticulture. So it was officially released to the trade last year, but it makes its true debut this year. And we are growing a whole bunch of them. So this greenhouse right here has been kept in the 30s or below. And look how good this thing still looks. A nice perennial too. It's actually zone hardy for us in Ohio. Peony Palooza. It's gonna be great. And as you can see, all grown right here, pretty cool. Very proud of our planting team and their abilities. So you saw a couple of our overwintering houses, and I will take you into a couple warm houses too. We've actually moved a few of our greenhouses to make room for a new build, which I'm not gonna show you right now because that's a secret. I'm gonna show you later. But we were able to rebuild those greenhouses, and we are still in the process of rebuilding them. You can see it's quite dramatic. This is one of our wonderful decluit houses. We love this greenhouse. It's nice and tall, and we're rebuilding it right now. So hopefully we'll get some film on this house before this extreme cold sets in. But this will be a wonderful house for production. And then one thing I'm very excited about, through the years, I've built and rebuilt my greenhouses on many occasions. We actually were at a different property before we ever came here. We took them down there, brought them over here. So what we have right here is actually the first greenhouse I ever built that I then tore down, that I moved to Fargo and rebuilt, and then tore down last summer, and now have rebuilt right here. So this is an Atlas house. It's called a ground-to-ground Quonset hut. And we're in the process of reconstructing this now. And this is another great perennial house. And it just adds to this nice little facility that we have going here. So it's very gratifying to me to see my first investment ever, you know, my first real greenhouse I bought, to have it back in action and producing plants again. And right here is what we've been spending a lot of our time on this winter. This space you see here is our new storage facility. Not super exciting, but this is our planting space. This is our storage space. So we like to use those pots that break down. You've seen them before. Unfortunately, they just take a lot of extra space to store because we have to store them dry, unlike plastic. So here's a way for us to store a lot of that material so that we can be more sustainable and ultimately a lot more efficient with a loading dock and then storage for our carts. And this is really going to make lives on our staff a lot easier, and ultimately it's just going to make things run a lot more smooth around here. So while we've been doing all this great construction, it's kind of put us into a little bit of a wobble in the way that we are growing things and storing things, and as a result we have some temporary houses that would normally be for perennials, but we have them set up for some of our other plants right now. So what you see right now is one of our succulent production houses ahead of spring, and we have plug trays here full of beautiful plants. So a lot of succulents in here, among other things. Some are small crops, some are large crops. As you can see, this is what it looks like here at a plant farm. These are gonna turn screaming orange as we get closer to summer. But right now, this sedum has its winter colors and has rooted very nicely. A lot of nice young plants in here. And we haven't even gotten started yet. The quality is looking really, really nice. So we start a lot of our plants all together as young starts like this, and then they'll get transferred over to their finished containers, whether those are small pots or like a mixed combination container. And there's other cool stuff just hiding in here too. Stuff that just needs to go to retail that hasn't quite made it in for one reason or the other, or it's just back stock as we sell through the stuff in retail, we bring up from back here. Ultimately, that's what we're really going for, is this really nice cadence of plants being grown and plants rolling out all the time. Right here is your aloe vera for spring. Doesn't look great right now, it is the winter, but these will be perfect little beautiful aloe plants come spring. Just gorgeous plant material and lots of it. When we get into spring, this place transforms, the whole place transforms into absolutely a crazy plant wonderland. I mean, I think we have room for 3,000 or 4,000 hanging baskets just in these structures alone. And then we grow outside, doing these rotations of plant material where we fill a house, we grow it, we move it outside, we refill it, and it just keeps going. All through here we have many different very cool mangave. Agaves themselves go way back in my business. It was one of the first plants that I grew. It's one of the reasons I fell in love with horticulture. And more spiral cacti for stocking later, and some smaller plants. And then you may have heard about my aloe breeding project coming on in here that are just some of the youngest babies in the aloe project. Now in here, this is actually my collection. Now my collection has not had a home up to this point that's an official space for it long term. This is just where it's living right now, but there's a bunch of cool plants in here in different states. I mean, my collection always tends to get less attention than all of the young plants that were grown, but I think things look pretty good. What we've been doing over the past few weeks before the planting season really begins is up potting, cleaning, and hanging a lot of these plants. So there are some real treasures in here. I mean, this is a portulacaria with gold leaves. I picked that up in California on a trip several years ago. And then this amazing climbing onion, the Bowie volubilis. Just a cool plant if there ever was one. So there's just a quick look at behind the scenes at Groovy Plants. And of course I couldn't show you everything. We have an overwintering house full of agaves and all kinds of stuff too. But just thought I'd share a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes. You guys always see the retail portion of the store, but there's a lot of activity back here. This is where a lot of work happens. And here as we get into spring, it gets really, really intense. On that note, if you want to work at Groovy Plants Ranch, we are taking interviews now, both for our planting team and for retail associates. We're looking for happy, energetic, fun people who just love plants and want to help people grow plants better. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.